Hi guys, it's Siobhan the Dragon, and welcome to another video. Today we are going to check out another crime series, another crime video, and this one is called Deadly Consequences at a Hot Pot Restaurant. Now, I love eating hot pot. I love um, having hot pot and it's really good, really good fun times, but this is where things go wrong. It's also another example of um, when parenting, when parents spoil their child too much, what can happen. So let's get to it.
Winter of 2019, a newly opened fish hot pot restaurant in a small city in Sichuan province experienced an unexpected incident that shocked everyone. A couple in their 30s brought their 7-year-old son to eat, but the child's behavior, combined with the parents' lack of discipline, sparked the frustration of everyone present.
Now, I've seen this a lot. Being an educator, there are times where my colleagues or myself will have a kid that is really disrespectful, really naughty. We had one student. One of my colleagues had a student, and this kid was really naughty, and he kept on telling the teacher. He kept on telling the kid's parents, your son is doing this in class, and the parents is like, my son, he wouldn't do something like that. I don't that doesn't sound like my son. You should go easy on him. He's just a child. But sometimes this could end up to the kid being spoiled, and let's carry on.
Just when it seemed there was nothing anyone could do, the family was faced with a tragic consequence. Welcome to Red Eastern True Crime.
Yeah, these are a channel called Red Eastern True Crime. I'll post the link down below. They post really cool videos. Yeah, so if you're into crime and you're into Chinese culture or Asian culture in general, this is definitely a cool channel to watch.
If you like true crime stories, please subscribe to my channel. Let's dive into this story. Sichuan hot pot is known for its numbing and spicy flavors, a signature dish in Sichuan and Chongqing. Known for its unique taste and variety of ingredients, it's famous throughout China, and even worldwide. The broth, made with beef tallow, chili peppers, Sichuan peppercorns, and other spices, serves as a base for a wide range of ingredients.
This thing is really delicious. You take the meat and you dip it into that. Basically, you use these vegetables and oils to make yourself a sauce. It's really delicious, making me think of going for hot pot.
Ingredients, including various meats, vegetables, and seafood. More than just food, hot pot is a social event, where family and friends gather around the bubbling pot, cooking and eating while chatting, creating a lively atmosphere. In 2019, a hot pot restaurant in a small city in Sichuan province became popular for its signature dish, sour fish. On weekends, diners often had to wait in line. Although the restaurant saw a steady stream of customers, the owner...
On weekends, if you're going to a restaurant that serves good food, especially in China, especially in Chengdu, these restaurants are packed, really busy. And it's easy for people to become frustrated in this type of environment, especially when all you're trying to do is get your meal, enjoy your weekend.
And staff couldn't forget about one family in particular. Their young son, who we'll call Jay. Jay, about 7 years old and in elementary school, had been a regular at the restaurant with his parents since it opened. That day, Jay and his parents returned to the restaurant. The owner quietly reminded the staff to avoid conflict with this family, unless necessary to avoid inconveniencing other customers and hurting the business. As soon as Jay and his parents sat down, Jay grabbed the menu, pointed at random dishes, and then asked the waitress, "Did you get this?" When she said yes, Jay said with a mischievous grin, "Never mind, I don't want any of this." The waitress's smile faded, but Jay's parents just laughed, showing no intention of stopping.
You know, that is just so disrespectful because these people work the whole day and they work really, really hard. Um, Waiters, especially here in Asia, especially in China, will have to clean up everything after you, will have to to tend to your every need, make sure everything is fine, and still remain nice to customers. And so when you get somebody that's disrespectful intentionally, it's not very good. It's just really, really disrespectful to these people in the service industry who are trying to make a living.
Him. After placing their order, Jay's parents began impatiently demanding their food by the minute. Meanwhile, Jay, unable to sit still, wandered over to the self-serve condiment station, using the communal spoon to eat sesame paste and grabbing fruit with his bare hands. Finding the watermelon unappetizing, he spat it out and began throwing chopped scallions and cilantro into the air,
That's
turning the once clean station into a mess. A young woman making her condiments nearby witnessed the entire scene and yelled at Jay to stop. Instead of obeying, Jay threw food at her, made a face, and ran off. A waitress quickly came over to calm the woman down and clean up the mess. Jay treated the restaurant like a playground, running around and even taking food from other customers' tables. When reprimanded, he'd make faces and run away, even snatching a toy from a little girl, prompting her parents to chase him down. When their food finally arrived, Jay's mother urged him to sit down and eat, but within minutes he was off and running, bumping into customers and nearly tripping a server carrying a hot pot.
This is what happens when you are too laxy-daisy with your child. When you finally want him to listen, he's not going to listen. And look, he even tipped over a server carrying a hot pot. He's 7 years old. He could have got injured. Hot pots are really have boiling hot water in them. Something could have happened.
Finally, a frustrated customer approached Jay's parents and asked them to control their child and stop him from running around the restaurant. Instead of apologizing, Jay's mother rolled her eyes and said, "He's just a kid. Why are you, an adult, making such a fuss? Can't you cut a child some slack?" A young waiter then added, asking Jay's parents to keep him from disturbing other guests. Jay's parents got up in a huff and started yelling at the waiter, "Who do you think you are? How dare you talk to my son like that?" Jay's father even looked ready to punch the waiter, but the owner quickly stepped in to defuse the situation and offered the angry customer a free dish. Jay's mother scoffed, "Don't think you can appease us with a free dish." The owner calmed her down by promising a discount on her bill. Although the other patrons and staff were well aware of Jay's behavior, most chose to mind their own business, hoping to avoid confrontation with such unreasonable people. Jay finally sat down and ate quietly for a while his parents concentrated on their phones and barely interacted with each other. At the next table were two middle-aged men, who seemed to be in a foul mood, eating and drinking with sighs. Once Jay was full, he started causing trouble again.
There are two men next to them at the next table who seem really angry. And remember what I said earlier. If all you want to do is just enjoy your meal, the restaurant is busy, you're waiting for your food, even normal people are going to start to have a problem when somebody is causing trouble for them. But let's see what Jay does and whether he does anything to these two middle-aged men seated nearby.
Throwing crumpled napkins at other tables. Some people noticed and gave him dirty looks but said nothing. Jay, aiming like a basketball player, threw a wad of paper at the next table, landing right in the hot pot of the two men. One of the strong men immediately stood up in anger and confronted Jay's parents. Jay, now frightened, began to scream and cry, but no tears came. Jay's father brushed him off and said, "It's just a piece of paper. You can still eat. Worst case, I'll pay for a new pot. It's not worth much." The man's face turned red with anger, and he was about to lose control, but his companion held him back. The strong man warned, "Raise your child properly, or I'll do it for you."
Wow. Wow. Ooh. You know, as it is, as an educator, you watch you watch how parents discipline their children, or you watch the lack of discipline of parents from their children. And generally, the students that are very well behaved have very we have parents that discipline them and are very diligent with them. However, for Jay's parents, that's not the case. But this line by this man, sounds like a warning.
The waiter brought them a new pot and rekindled the fire. While waiting for it to boil, the two men went to the bathroom together. Seeing them leave, Jay's mother grew bolder, cursing under her breath. Jay then ran to the men's table, made a mess, and surreptitiously took their car keys before returning to his seat. His parents
Now that is just disrespectful. I understand these men scolded you, but you did the wrong thing as a child. And your parents, after you did the wrong thing, your parents should have told the men, look, we're sorry for what our child did, we're going to discipline him. And they should have given Jay a thorough talking to, or disciplined Jay right then and there. But instead, they're praising him. Oh, good job, son, good job. You really showed those bad men, didn't you? Ha, those bad men can't do anything to you.
praised him, saying he was a good son for getting back at them. Tragedy was about to strike. When the two men returned, they saw their table in disarray, noticed Jay's nonchalant demeanor, and saw his parents continuing to eat and drink as if nothing had happened. Unable to hold back any longer, the strong man grabbed Jay and within seconds, shoved his face into the boiling pot. Jay struggled in agony as his parents first froze in shock, then frantically tried to pull the man away.
I would just, I mean, I'm struggling to believe that this story is even real, but it's a true story. Just imagine, it's boiling. There's basically a hot pot is there's a stove underneath, and a very very strong, powerful stove that has boiling that has a pot with boiling oil, boiling gravy, boiling oil, boiling spices, and it's basically meant to cook a piece of meat very quickly. You can imagine what would happen to a human face in there. It's crazy. I understand the shock reaction on the parents, and wow, this is really crazy, man.
At that moment, the other man pulled out a fruit knife and stabbed Jay's parents.
Ooh, ooh.
The restaurant descended into chaos as the two men quickly fled amid the commotion. Police and paramedics soon arrived on the scene, but Jay and his parents were pronounced dead that day. Using surveillance footage, police quickly identified the two suspects and arrested them within a week. The men turned out to be fugitives wanted for murder. This incident caused quite
It just goes to show you, right? It just goes to show you. Be careful. You better be nice to everybody. Don't be mean to people unnecessarily, because you never know who might be nearby. In this case, it was two fugitives, two murderers already. It doesn't take a lot to incite them because they're already in jail. They're already wanted for murder. If somebody insults them or gets on their bad side, it's done. And The parents are stabbed. The boy is probably dead. That's crazy. An entire family dead because they refused to discipline their son.
At a stir locally. But it wasn't until February 2024, when a movie based on the event was released, that the news spread throughout China. The movie once again brought to light the misbehavior of spoiled children and the negligence of their indulgent parents. The story has been retold by hundreds of social media bloggers, with some variations in the details of Jay's actions. However, the consistent elements include his parents' permissiveness, their bullying of others, Jay being forced into the boiling hot pot, and the fact that the two suspects were fugitives. Despite the tragedy, countless netizens applauded the criminals, saying they had served justice and should receive reduced sentences. Many felt a sense of satisfaction with the outcome. This sentiment probably stems from the fact that people often encounter spoiled children and their unreasonable parents in their daily lives, leaving many feeling frustrated. For example, in public spaces such as trains and airplanes, some children watch cartoons on their phones or tablets at high volume. When asked to turn down the volume,
All right. I'm just gonna go.
their parents not only
I'm just gonna go back to this topic, right? The hot pot um, massacre, which I'll call it, hot pot massacre, because an entire family was killed, murdered in a brutal way. Um, these parents, because of their refusal to not only discipline their child, but also their refusal and inability not to spoil the child whenever he's needed, it caused the death of the entire family. I've seen kids, as an educator, I've seen kids that are really, really naughty, and their parents will let the naughtiness slide. Oh, he's just a child, just leave him. But this is there are naughty kids everywhere, right? But sooner or later, your inaction or lack of positive action will lead to a very, very dark circumstance. Um, so, guys, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? Comment down below. There's more to this video to react to, but I think that alone is more than enough to digest at this hot pot massacre. Pardon the pun. Sichuan the Dragon. I'll see you all in the next video.